Hello and welcome to our presentation today. My name is Derek and I will be presenting our remodeling demonstration, and I want to bring us over to our agenda for this presentation. So the first part of our presentation is going to be how we can capture our as-built for the remodeling project. So I'm going to use our Room Planner app. I've gone out to our as-built with our Room Planner mobile app and a laser distance meter with Bluetooth capability, and I've captured our as-built measurements. The Bluetooth connection wirelessly sends those dimensions into the app, and I assembled my floor plan there. And from there, I'm going to show you in this presentation specifically how to import that into Chief Architect so we can upload that plan into the cloud and then import it into Chief Architect. From there, we'll talk a little bit about setting up the defaults on your as-built plan to replicate what's in the field, and also how we can set up our wall types and layers for a remodeling scenario. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to bring over our a website here. This is the website for our Room Planner app. This is a mobile app that we have. This was developed and created by Chief Architect, and it works in conjunction with our desktop software like Chief Architect. And if you go to the Room Planner website, it's just simply roomplanner.chiefarchitect.com. You can land on this web page here, and if we click on the products, you'll get some information, more information about this app. And there's a video tour that kind of shows you about how the Room Planner app works. And I'm going to scroll down the page here because what I did is I went out and used our Room Planner app to capture the as-built with a laser distance meter, and I used a distance meter that has a Bluetooth connection. And what happens is you can go out and shoot the distance of a given wall, and it will send through a Bluetooth connection the precise dimension of that wall, and then you can use that to basically measure and capture the floor plan of an existing house. So if you want some more information about how that works, again, if we go to the Room Planner website and go to the products page, there's a video right here on how that process works. And once you capture that in Room Planner, it will load up into the cloud, and then you can pull that plan down into Chief Architect. So let's go ahead and show you how we would do that. So let's open our Chief Architect, and this is going to be our Chief Architect Premier version. And we're going to start a new plan. And in this plan, we are going to go to import our Room Planner that we put up into the cloud. So under the File menu, we're going to go down to Import. And in our import options, we have this Import Room Planner file. So we're going to select that. And you need a Chief Architect account and of course the Room Planner app in order to do this import. And with my login and password here, we're going to import in the plan. So this brings up the plans that I have up in the cloud from Room Planner, and at the moment I just have this one plan here. I'll make sure that that's selected and click OK. And that has imported our plan into Chief Architect. So we'll just do a quick 3D view here to see what we've got. We'll do a perspective floor overview, and you'll notice that we already have our 3D model created, and we even have our room type here. I labeled this room as a garage in Room Planner, and when this plan comes into Chief Architect sees that as a garage area and automatically changes the floor to a slab, and also put in the proper foundation underneath that slab for the garage as well. Okay, so we'll notice that there's some cleanup that we will likely want to do in our plan. So the next thing we're going to do is get into this plan and change up some of the, you'll notice some doors here, windows will want to get changed. So let's go ahead and get those cleanup and changes done. So what we're going to do to start is we're going to tile our views, and we can tile our view so that we can see our perspective view over here as well as our floor plan view. And under our view menu, our window menu, excuse me, there is a tile vertically and a tile horizontally. We're going to tile that vertically, and you'll notice that I get a keyboard shortcut over here for Shift F6. So going forward, when I want to tile my views, I'll just use that keyboard shortcut. And so now we have both views on our screen, and what we can do is typically you'd want to just verify your as-built measurements are all accurate, and we can go around our exterior and verify what our various measurements are. If we wanted to check our windows, when we click on an object in the program, we get some temporary dimensions that come up. And of course, if we grab this window and move it, you'll notice that those dimensions update. We can also click on a dimension and type in a value there. So if I wanted that to be 4 foot 6 inches, for example, I can enter that value in, and it will position that window exactly to that dimension. That is also the case for other objects in the program. If we click on this wall and I wanted to change the dimension of that wall, we can do so, but I went through with a laser distance meter, and these dimensions are very exact, so I'm going to go ahead and leave the dimensions and locations of the walls and openings as they are. Another nice tool for doing dimension is something called our auto dimensions up here in our toolbar. We have some auto exterior dimensions, auto interior, NKBA auto dimensions, and auto elevation dimensions, and so forth. So if we do this auto exterior dimension, it will automatically dimension all the openings in existing wall locations. And again, if we wanted to alter a position of something, we can click on an object and select a dimension and type a value in, just like we did with those temporary dimensions. So I'm going to click undo just because I don't necessarily need to have all those dimensions viewed on my screen. I kind of feel that muddies up my view, and I like to have a nice clean view here, so we don't need the dimensions. I'm confident at this point that we're good to move forward in terms of the wall layout and position of all the openings. But I would like to start to clean up some of the windows and doors here. So the window types that we've put in here, you may want to update those to something that looks a little bit more like what's existing. So a couple of ways that we can do that: we can group select our windows. If we click on the window tool and hold the shift key down on our keyboard, I can do a marquee around my plan, and it's going to grab just the windows that are in this plan. So now you'll notice in the lower left hand corner here that I have down here I have 5 objects selected. Those are 5 windows, and I can open those windows up and make a change, a global change. So for this particular house, I know they're all sliding windows, so I'll change those over to sliding style, and I'm not going to alter the size of those, we're just going to alter the style, and we'll click OK. And now you'll notice in our 3D view that the update has been made on all those windows I've selected. So that multiple select will work for many other objects in the program. If you wanted to select all the doors, for instance, you wanted to select just walls, you just click on the given tool button, hold the shift key down, and you can make a large marquee around the entire plan and only get the things that you want selected. Okay, so looking at my door here, I have a louvered style closet door here. I just want to use this door as an example to show you how something works. Our match properties tool works. So I'm going to grab that door here. Zoom in a little bit. There we go. And let's open that object. And we're going to change the style of that over to a panel just as an example, and click OK. And now you'll notice that the style of that has changed. So just to highlight another way to make a style change is we can go up to this object eyedropper tool. And if we select that and we click on an object such as this panel bifold door here, and we come over into this and click on this door, it's going to match the properties that were on this door and add it to this door over here. So it's kind of a nice handy way to make changes in the program. Okay, so I think we're pretty well cleaned up in terms of what we want to get covered in this plan. And the next thing we want to do is take a look at setting up some wall types and layers. So let's go ahead and start with that. Now before we start to change our wall types and set up some wall types, I do want to just show you quickly some default settings in the program. And you'll notice, and something that tipped me off here, is that the plan that I started this with has a default of a 9-foot ceiling, and I just happened to notice the relative distance between the top of my door and what would be the ceiling here. And I want to go in and change for this plan what the default setup is for the floor. That would include the platform thickness, it would include the ceiling height, and so forth. Up on our toolbar here we have this default settings. It looks like a little wrench, and we can set up various defaults for all kinds of things in the program. These will be defaults such as when you click on a door, what type of door style you get, what kind of flooring you have, the wall types that you're using, the structural aspects of it. So what we want to do is go into our floor defaults, and this is how our structure is set up. And for our first floor, you'll notice that we have a ceiling height of 109 1/8. So that's for our 9-foot ceiling. So I'm going to change that value here to 97 to a standard 8-foot ceiling. That's how our as-built is. And we'll look down here. It looks like our for our ceiling, we have ceiling over that. We'll go down to our floor. So for our floor, we've got our floor structure total of 12 5/8. If we click on edit here, we'll notice that our floor structure has a 3/4 inch OSB for the floor sheathing, and down below we have an 11 7/8, and that is our I-joist. So that does match up with my as-built, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that. The only change I've made is my ceiling height for the plan, and we'll click OK. And we'll click done here. And now you'll notice that our the top, that gap here, has changed because it's changed that ceiling height across the entire plan by making that one change. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into our walls. Now when we're dealing with a remodel, we're oftentimes dealing with various wall types that you'll want to display in your plan. And typically what you're looking at is you'll have existing walls, perhaps you'll have some demo walls, and then you'll also have new walls that you're creating in the plan, perhaps within the structure, or maybe you're doing an addition. In this particular project we'll be doing all of those. So we'll want to add some wall types, and if it's not already done in your particular program, we can add wall types and they get saved to our list. So what we're going to do is go over to our wall tool here and double click on that for our exterior, and we're going to go down to our wall types, and we'll notice that we have this siding 6 wall chosen as our default wall type. And I'm going to click on the define button here, and I want to copy this siding 6 because that is the makeup of the existing wall in terms of having the exterior siding, house wrap, the 7/16 OSB sheathing, 2x6 framing, and drywall. So that matches up with what I'd like, but I want to specify this as existing wall. So I'm going to make a copy of this siding 6, and we're going to call it a siding 6 existing. and we're going to change the fill style of this wall here. So right now we have this blue color, so we're just going to change that over so that it has a white fill in there. And we'll click OK and click OK again. So you get a preview of what that wall looks like here, and I'm happy with that, so I'm going to click OK, and we'll click OK again. And then we're going to change over to our interior wall, and we're going to double click on the interior and go into our wall types for that, and we have this interior 4. Again, we're going to define that, copy it, and make that an existing interior, and we'll change the fill again over to a white. Click OK. So now we have 2 new wall types in our list here. So we have an interior existing, and then we have an exterior siding 6 existing as well that we can use and change things over. So that's the idea of how you would go in. I'm not going to go in and add the other wall types, but you may want to go in and add a demo wall. Perhaps you're using a special energy rated wall where you want to add foam and so forth. So this is basically where you would deal with making changes to the wall types. So I'm going to click OK here, and in our plan now I'm going to want to select the walls and make the change. So we're going to group select our exterior walls. I'm just going to hold the shift key down and grab the few exterior walls on this particular plan and click to open them. And we're going to say that these walls, instead of the siding 6, it's a siding 6 existing. Click OK. You'll notice right away that we've got our different look here. And now we're going to change over to our interior, and we're going to use that trick that we used before, where I select the wall tool and hold the shift key down, and I do a marquee select right around all of our walls here, and that will grab just my interior walls for me. So I see they're selected. Let's open those up, and we'll go into our wall types and change that over to an interior existing. So now I have the look that I'm after in terms of the fill on our wall, and the next thing we want to do is set up a couple of custom layers to go forward with. Now, Chief Architect uses layers to control and layer sets to control what you see on your screen and what you eventually will print out. So if you want to limit what you're looking at here in terms of perhaps you had a lot of detail of cabinetry and so forth, you can turn cabinetry off and maybe turn roofs on to create a roof plan. So we can control turning things on and off, and the way that we do that is up here in our layer display options. If we open that up, we get a long list of all the various layers that are already in the program, and it comes already with lots of them, but we can manage this list and add to it as well. So for a remodel, it's often that you're going to want to put existing doors and windows on their own layer and new doors and windows on either a new or just the door and window layer. And the reason that you might consider doing that is that not only can you control turning them on and off, but with layers you can also control whether these items are included in the material list. So this is a way for us to control where we can create an existing window layer and turn off the materials here, and that will be sure not to calculate when you run your materials list. So what you would typically want to do, and just as an example here, I'm going to go and create a new layer for our doors. So we can select on this doors layer and click new, and then we'll name this doors existing, and click OK. And we can go through this list, and maybe for Windows we'll add Windows existing, we'll copy it, and then in this layer here we'll do Windows existing. And we can go through and create the various layers that we'd like to create, and then we can assign the objects to those layers. So let's go look at how we would do that. So I'm going to click OK here to save the change that we've made there. And let's go and select our doors in this plan. So I'm just going to multiple select, or perhaps we'll just go up here and go to our door tool, hold the shift key down and marquee around our entire plan, and let's open up all of our doors. And in our layer area, instead of our doors, we want to go to doors existing. There's our doors existing, and click OK. So now all of our doors are in that doors existing. You'll notice that they're not displaying anymore in this 3D view over here. That's because that layer is not turned on in 3D. So we can go ahead and turn that back on to get those doors to show in a 3D view. So that's the idea. I'm not going to go through creating all these layers. I just wanted to get across the point that we can go in and create layers for existing doors, windows, walls, roof, foundation, and assign those to existing status, and then mark that they're not included in the material list. And that's a way for you to very finely control your material list. So real quick here, let's show you how we get our doors to show back up here. So we're select on our 3D view here. If we go to our layer display options and hit D for doors, and we turn on our existing door layer and click OK, so now all of our doors will show up in our 3D. So layers obviously are controlled in showing or not showing things in 3D and in 2D and elevation views and so forth. So the final thing that we want to do to wrap up dealing with our as-built here is to add on the existing roof structure and also add on the existing foundation. That way when we add our addition onto the back of this house, we have what's existing there to deal with in terms of tying those things in. So let's go ahead and start with our roof. And I'm going to close this 3D view down that we have, and we're going to open up our roof dialog box, or our roof build options. So up in this toolbar we have a build roof, and in this dialog box that comes up, the first thing I'm going to do is check our auto rebuild roof. And what that does is as we make changes to the plan, it will update the roof structure. And in this dialog I'm going to change the pitch. I've gone out and verified that I have a 5 and 12 pitch. And I do have trusses on this existing house as well. And we have many options for controlling our roof parameters on the left here. These are what we call panels. The last panel that we have here is for roof styles. If we click on that, it's going to demonstrate visually the various roof styles that you can automatically generate in the program. And if you click on one of these icons here, it'll bring you to a help article about how to get to that roof automatically. So if you don't give the program any other information, you just build a roof, by default it's going to build a hip style roof for you. Some other options here as we go down this list, controlling how we deal with our eaves, square and plumb cut rafters and so forth, the makeup of the roof surface, the thickness of the shingles and sheathing and soffits and so forth, whether we're supplying various things like gutters and flashing. If we're stick framing the roof, this is where we would plug in the parameters for the framing on that roof. If we want to expose our rafter tails, we can do that, as well as add a profile. Ridge caps, gutter, frieze, shadow boards, all these things we can plug in to our roof as it's existing, or for the new part as well. So let's go ahead and stick with what we have here as the rest of our defaults. I have the 5 and 12 and trusses, and auto build roof is the important things that I want to make sure we're doing. And I'm going to click OK here. And now you'll notice that we already have these green dashed lines, and that represents the roof planes that have been created. And let's do a quick 3D view. Instead of the perspective floor overview, we're going to do the perspective full overview. That includes what the house looks like with the roof on there. So of course we didn't give it any other parameters in terms of the roof build, so we've got this hip style roof all the way around our project. Okay, so let's tile our views, and I'm going to use that shortcut for Shift F6, and we'll pull that over so I have my plan view on the left hand side. And let's start to make some changes to our roof. Now, the as-built that we have some front gables here, and then we have some gables on either side. So we'll want to get those conditions sorted out here. I like to reference an image. I like to, when I'm dealing with an as-built, typically take some photographs of the outside of the house, and that way I can, when I'm back in the office and recreating things, I can refer to that to help me with recreating that as-built, particularly helpful with roofs. So this is a rendering of the as-built, and not an actual photograph obviously, but we want to recreate our gables in the front here. We also have a gable line that runs across the building here with that long ridge, and then the porch has a covered porch area, and that will extend down from a ridge all the way across and covers that front porch. So let's take a look at how we would get these roof conditions dialed into our as-built plan here. Now, there's a couple of ways that we can handle changing our roof. We can do so in a 3D view. So if we click on this front wall here, we get a group of edit tools down at the bottom over here. And one of the edit tools is to change that to a gable wall. If I click on that button, it's going to switch that over to a gable wall. I can also do that same thing in a plan view. If I grab that front wall, I can change that over to a gable, and you'll notice in our 3D view over here that updates. So we can pretty easily go through and do that. We can also group select. If you have multiple gables, we can group select that. Now the front of the house, we have a gable that, or on the side of the house I should say, we have a gable that runs across here, and we'll want to also have a gable run across on this side that comes up. So we'll need to split this long wall in half. Right now this is shown as one long wall, so we'll want to split that in half so we can tell the software where those gables run to on either side. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to establish that front porch area. So I'm going to pull over that image again. We're going to establish this front porch, and then we're going to deal with getting the gables set over there. So I'm going to go up to our railing tool here, and we're just going to go into a straight deck edge, and I'm going to come down and just draw a divider that goes right across here. And let's update our 3D view so we can see what's going on as we do this. So when I selected that straight deck edge, obviously it makes a deck here, but we can convert this into a porch area, and we can do that simply by double clicking on that room and going over here and calling that a porch. And we'd also want to go into our structure tab here for that porch. Want to make sure that we're getting a roof over that area so that it extends over that front area. And we'll also want to go to the floor structure, and I'm going to change the thickness of that. Instead of 4 inches, I'm going to make that 24 inches. So I'll add a 2 there, and I'll click OK, and we'll click OK again. So now we have that front porch area that we were looking for, and you'll notice that the roof already built over that as well. It's kind of hard to see from this view. Perhaps I'll just rotate that around a little bit so you can see how that's come forward. Now the next part, what we want to do is we want to create a gable in this side over here. So we can simply select this wall here and change that over to a gable, and we get that front or that side gable on that side. Now we want that ridge line to continue to go all the way over to the other side, and in order to do that, we'll need to have this wall here, a break come out exactly where this wall comes out over here. What we can do is we can extend this wall right here temporarily. We're just going to select it and grab it and extend that out, and that will make that intersection point for us. And I'm going to click on our break wall tool, and we're going to break this wall into two sections. So now when I click on this long wall, instead of getting that long wall all the way through, I get a section here and I get a section here. So now I can select that section and change it over to a gable, and that will ensure, if we get back to our view here, that we have that intersecting or that gable condition that we were looking for there. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab this railing area right here. We don't need that anymore. I'm going to hit the delete key, and we still have that break in the wall, and the roof retains the way that we'd like it to be. Okay, so I think that we have our as-built roof pretty well set how we need it to be, and let's go ahead and move on to adding our foundation. We have a pretty simple foundation for our as-built. It's simply a crawl space here. So to build our foundation, what we'll want to do is go up to this tool button here for our floor tools, and under that list you'll find a build foundation option. So we'll click on build foundation, and it brings you through a dialog box that helps you to design the foundation that you need. At the top we get three options here: wall with footings, grade beam on piers, or a monolithic slab on grade. So we do want the walls with footings, and the stem wall height of 37.5, giving us a basement ceiling of 33.5 is what's existing in our as-built. So we're going to leave that default here. Under our options tab in our foundation, if you wanted to specify your reinforcement, you can do so here with that, but I'm not too concerned about the reinforcement in terms of our as-built, because we're not going to include any of this in our materials list, so the reinforcement is kind of irrelevant. So we're just going to go ahead and accept what we have here as our default and click OK. And the program is asking us if we would like to derive the foundation from the first floor plan or start with a blank plan. I like to have the program do the work for me, so we'll go ahead and stick with the default of deriving it and click OK. And now we are automatically brought down to our basement level in our plan view, and you'll notice in our 3D view over here that we've got our foundation put on. Okay. Now the foundation, existing foundation, there is some other supporting walls, knee walls down here to hold our I-joists, but I'm not going to worry about that in this segment. We'll be dealing with adding some bearing walls in the addition, and for the purposes of the as-built, I don't really need that detail here in terms of those bearing walls in the foundation. So let's go ahead and move on. We're done with our roof and our foundation, and I think at this point the as-built is set up as much as we need it to be set up to start with our addition. Now bear in mind that we've done some work up to this point in terms of creating wall types. We've created some layers for this plan. All this work that we're doing in terms of setting up defaults and layers and wall types, you can save that in in a default plan so that when you go to do another remodel project or an addition project, you can open a plan that already has all these wall types and layers set up, so you don't have to duplicate your work. And what you do is when you go in and do all these wall types and layers for the first time, you can go up to File and Templates and Save as Template, and it will save this plan as a template that you can reuse going forward. So that's a real nice efficiency tool. That concludes this segment of the presentation. Next, we'll take a look at our addition and remodel and go through all the various steps there. Chief Architect has a Premier and an Interiors version. The Premier version is for full residential and light commercial design. The Interiors is for kitchen, bath, and interior design. The Premier version, by the way, does include all of the features of the Interiors version. When you purchase Chief Architect, you get a year of our support and software assurance. That includes priority tech support, online training videos, there's over 600 of those, premium catalog downloads for things like Simpson bracket, Simpson ties, and cabinet manufacturers, all kinds of additional premium catalogs. Any new versions we come out with, upgrades, new releases are all included in that. You also get discounts on training seminars and additional licenses. And you can download a trial version at our website at chiefarchitect.com. We have a trial version of both the Premier and the Interiors version. So I want to thank you for watching this segment of the video, and tune in for the subsequent videos on the addition and the remodeling. If you have any questions, feel free to give our sales department a call or an email. You can email us at sales@chiefarchitect.com, or you can call us at 208-292-3400. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.